if you've seen me for a while, you probably noticed that my room is kind of looking a little different now, especially with the elephants in the room right about now. And I want you to take a good look at my walls, alright? So, nothing really changed if you know me, but I just want to show people who don't know in this video pretty much the walls. You could probably see that dynamics, or not dynamics, the acoustic treatment in this room is just abysmal. Like, there's nothing really around, you know, just a couple of pieces here and there, a couple of bass traps. You may be like, damn son, you know about music, you're a music engineer, you do mixing and mastering, JustinAmowie.com. But why the hell is your room looking so bad, and why you rotate your table like that? Well, I want to talk to y'all about that today. This is more of my opinion and my thoughts and why I'm not considering acoustic treatment for my room right now, you know, like why I don't give a damn about it. And hopefully by the end of me talking to y'all about this, maybe you guys and girls will probably feel a little bit of the same. By the way, if you do not know who I am Justin Omowie, and I teach people about music around here, you know, in my words, in my ways, in my fashion. First of all, I want to talk to y'all about acoustic treatment in the first place. For those who do not know, a quick rundown is pretty much treating the space inside of your room to be in a good environment for listening to audio, you know, sounds, quality, signal. Without the acoustic treatment, you pretty much have the wall, you have plywood to hold the frame, you know, like what you see right here actually. But you have the frame, you have the drywall, and you have this empty gap for a lot of people who, you know, have the house like that. But what's happening is the sound will bounce, hit the wall, reflect back, and it will kind of screw up, you know, the way you're accurately hearing a sound. That's called reflection, that I just kind of said there. There's things like acoustic panels, as you see on this wall with the red and black panels right there. There is the bass traps, which you can see up there. And then there's some that hang from the ceiling down, like cloud filters or something like that. Cloud acoustic, it's just acoustic panel hanging from the air. And there's also something called diffusion panels, which is kind of like a little interesting woodworking. Those are different panels of acoustic treatment. But that's acoustic treatment there. Now, why do I not give a shit about it right now? As you see, I have something over here in the making. If you guys hit me up for mixing and mastering, it'll help this process go by a little bit quicker. But what it is I'm building a vocal booth. And yes, I will go a little bit into how to create a vocal booth for y'all. You know, I'm not the perfect person to teach this, but I'll give you in my, you know, words. So I'm gonna build a vocal booth, and it's pretty much gonna be right here. This is where the wall is gonna be if I were to, well, just visualize it. So there's literally gonna be a wall right here, right? And remember what I said about acoustic bouncing off the walls? It'll give reflection. So the wall's right here, speaker right here, boom, you hear the bass boom, hits backwards. It's gonna bounce off the walls, give me inaccurate readings. So all in all, the treatment or the room listening, I'm listening, is screwed. That's if I use the loudspeakers and just play things loudly. Which is probably the first point that I'm gonna give y'all as to why I don't care about the room acoustics in my room. I don't really use loudspeakers too much. I know it's weird to hear from me, but I do use them like when it comes to like as a listening medium, but I don't really use it when it comes to, you know, playing it loud and proud and you know, mixing superior wise. Even before I changed up around the studio, you could have saw like it was off the wall, but it wasn't, you know, there was no padding to like support the whole bass or boom boom, you know. The only time I do use the loudspeakers, as I mentioned, is when I am just playing back a song in its entirety, if I just want to give it a listen on a different medium, or if I'm just, you know, booming out, listening to YouTube music or music in general, just playing games or whatever it may be. I'll just listen with this, have a little hype experience, you know what I'm saying? Also, beat making too, and beat making, and that part, you just don't care about the quality until, you know, after you compose the beats and stuff. So that's my first point. I don't really use loudspeakers like that. And if you don't use loudspeakers, you're not gonna have a loud signal to bounce off walls and break up, you know, signals and all types of stuff like that. That's my first point. The second point now is pretty much when we go back to this drywall setting. You hear that? I'm tapping on the wall and you hear it bounce back. Well, part of it is because the acoustic treatment itself, right? But the other part is because there is no insulation in between my walls. So soundproof and acoustic treatment are two different things, all right? Soundproof pretty much isolates yourself in the room where you can't hear other people outside, whereas acoustic treatment is treating the inside of your room to hear sounds in an accurate setting. If you don't understand, just pretty much go outside your room, speak. If you hear yourself inside, it's bad soundproofing. So yeah, the walls are hollow inside. So pretty much like I showed you with this frame right here. Inside, the two dry walls, right here and then right here. Inside, absolutely nothing. That's why when I bang the wall, you hear that reverb, that bounce. It's hollow in there. Not to mention you're gonna hear outside noises, and those outside noises are gonna mess up your judgment in some cases too. It could be a distraction. It's just not the best of an environment for you to listen in. The third reason why is pretty much the room's dimension itself. I don't know, you could probably get a good visual of this room from here. Matter of fact, hold on, let me bring that tape measure. Alright, I brought the old tape measure. I'm just gonna measure this room real quick for y'all. The width of this room is about 10 feet 1 inches internal dimensions. And if I were to measure it from the door over to here, we're getting 8 feet. We're getting about 8 feet 8 inches. And let me measure the height. So from up down. Actually, I'm so slow. It would be great if I had my glasses. We're getting 116 there. We got 9 feet 8 inches there. So right off the bat, our height is 9 feet 8 inches. Our width, if we're counting all the way to the end, is 10 feet, and that's bad. I want you to go ahead and Google the golden ratio for a room in general. Usually it's the height is 1, the ratio of 1. I always get these two messed up, but the length and the width, I'll put it in the description there. But the length and the width is gonna be a 1.6 and a 2.6 difference in terms of the ratio. My length should be at least more than 15 there, right? If my height is 9 and the width should be 1.5 times that, that is gonna be 9 plus 4.5. I know I said 1.6, but let's just say 13 and a half. Yeah, 13 and a half plus. I hate math. But you see what I'm saying, right? The height and the width ratio is not really looking so nice. And I know some of y'all would say, hey man, you could just fix or you could treat the room to its setting, do it as best as you can. But in my case, like, what's the point of doing that if my room is not set in the best or the greatest of, you know, dimension? And if my walls are not soundproofed, what's the point of doing the acoustic treatment? You know, that's why I don't care about the acoustic treatment. You should understand that not every house is built for audio mastering or, you know, mixing. It's not meant, not everybody's an audio person. It's all pretty much for you to live in. And the last reason is kind of a cheesy reason, I guess, in my sense, is pretty much what I explained just now. Not everybody has the environment of, hey, I'm listening to this in a acoustic treated perfect room. Everyone's gonna be listening to things like their cars, which has a lot of shit in between. They have glass everywhere. You know, people are gonna be using their headphones, which is why I love to use headphones instead. I use the Focal Clear Pro headphones. But yeah, people are gonna be using their rooms, not to mention that we got a window over there. You know, windows bounce off a lot. Oh yeah, did I mention that I'm in between two bathrooms? I'm not getting any peace or quiet here, man. People use different rooms, different sizes, different settings, and there is always gonna be some sort of audio interference when it comes to that. I know it doesn't make sense, you know, because they're using a listening for entertainment while we're using a listening for, you know, getting sound signals right. Yes, I do understand that. But just like how other brands have their own type of flavoring, you could understand the flavoring of your room and adapt to it once you listen on different mediums of sounds. This is just my talk, in my opinion. This is not a professional thing. I mean, I'm talking against acoustic treatment here. Who the hell in their right mind would say something like this as a music person? So don't quote me on anything here. This is just my opinion, my thoughts, and I want to reflect onto you guys and girls as well. And as I mentioned, Focal Clear Pro, I mean, link will be in the description. I'm trying to get a sale off of this shit. I'm not sponsored by them, but the way those headphones are created is to pretty much be a loudspeaker in your head's experience, and of course quality. That's why it costs $1,500 for that. Now you could put your room in a great environment where you could listen with the loudspeakers, but that'll cost so much money. Okay, we're talking about building double walls, so that's like decoupling walls, doing double dry walls, using green glue if you want to be that expensive with it, to paste onto double wall layers. That's using Roxol insulation everywhere. That's using mass loaded vinyl everywhere, stapling it onto your vapor barriers or wherever it may go. That's creating another floor. That's creating acoustic panels, diffusion panels, reading all the scientifics about the diffusion to create the right perfect environment. That's removing your fan. That's creating a baffle box for your ventilation. That's putting the ventilation on the floor if you want to have the best, sound experience. You see where I'm going? It's a lot of shit you gotta deal with if you want to get the perfect room. Not to mention you gotta cut off your your window. My cats love being there in the window. But if you want a great environment, you gotta cut off the window, But what do you think is gonna be better? Like buying $1,500 headphones to have in your ears, experience of music in the best quality, or spending over, I would say, about $15,000, maybe more, to get this whole room perfectly allocated for a listening environment. Not to mention this is probably your mom's house. In my case, it is my mom's house. I don't want this to be my final destination. I mean, I understand there's people in their 30s still living with their mom and stuff. I'm 27. It's just a way of, the new age. Before, back then, when you're 18, you don't have no TV, no entertainment to take up your time. Now we got all this stuff, but time's aging, money inflating, money growing. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm just trying to defend myself here. But if there's anything that I want you to grab from this video, just understand that acoustic treatment, yeah, it's cool. It could help you out, but there's so much more around it to go about with, the soundproof, everything I mentioned before. By all means, you could do all that stuff that you want, But just think about it from now. Is this the place where you want your music studio to finally be? So as me in my mom's house, in a home studio that I created, do I want to acoustically treat my room right now? And my answer to that is honestly no. I'd rather build a vocal booth here that's soundproofed, so not only do we have a wall that's blocking off some sounds, we're gonna have Roxol insulation in here. It's gonna cut off all the other sounds. I'd rather build a booth and create great vocals in there and be able to express myself than to spend so much money soundproofing these walls, all that shit I mentioned before, and then have to move out later after I make myself a fortune. That's all I have to say about this topic. I would love to hear from you guys and girls. Would you guys really care about your acoustic treatment right now? Or would you rather try to adapt to the sound that you're using and understand what's going around in terms of interferences? Would you rather use headphones? Because honestly, I'm on the headphones. I've been on the headphones. And there's mastering engineers that went from loudspeakers to only headphones. Like that same Focal Clear Pro headphones. And they're still making do with it. Thank you for listening to your boy. Hopefully this information was somewhat informational to y'all. Hit that thumbs up if you want to support your boy. If you want to get some of your songs mixed and mastered, hit your boy up because, I do have all the gear and experience for that. Not to mention the headphones for the perfect, hearing. And yeah, with all that said, thank you. It is your boy, Justin Omoe. And with that being said, peace. I'm out. And please have yourselves a damn good one.